Hello, hockey fans. It's Daria, Mironova, and Ken Filler. Ken, say hi.
Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day and enjoying Lightning hockey as they come down the stretch.
Yeah, because that's all Ken cares about. I want to talk about the Florida Panthers. I'm just kidding. I don't. No. Yes, let's talk about hockey on the beach, also known as the Tampa Bay Lightning. So things are going pretty well on one side. Previously, we talked about the away trip. It was a good one. 3 wins out of 4. There are some issues, but we're just going to talk about them later. Then the Lightning comes back home, and I'm sure you can see the same thing that I do see. Defense! What is going on? The last 2 games, John Cooper and his coaches, whatever stuff, they decided that it would be a great idea if they start the game with the third line. Which, what does it mean? It means that it's going to set the mood. And what did we have? We had a lot of fights. And if you pay attention, Nikita Kucherov, when the game is too aggressive, Nikita Kucherov doesn't produce much because it's not his game. And unfortunately, things didn't go well against the Minnesota Wild. Yes, you can say, "Ooh, they got the win." Yes, it's awesome. But they got punished for everything they started on Tuesday. They got it back on Thursday. Ken, what's going on?
I'll use the excuse they were still a little bit tired and had heavy legs on Tuesday against Minnesota, even though they won the game. They started off, as you know, against the Wild, very sluggish. The other thing, too, this is a hard time of year to win games. 20 of the 30 teams, or even 25 of the 30 teams, are still battling for a playoff spot. From now on through the rest of the season, you're going to get everybody's best shot. Seattle is right in the mix for one of the wild card spots, or possibly a third place playoff spot in their division. They brought it all. And I was surprised they had a 2-0 lead at one point. And the Lightning should have won that game. I looked at the score. It was 2-0. Shots on goal. And the Kraken had like 9 shots on goal. Maybe this was in the second period. And 3 goals allowed. That's not going to win you playoff games. And definitely you're not going to have a long playoff run allowing 3 goals on 9 shots. Things seemed to settle down after that. The Lightning got their legs under them, and they had pressure on Seattle all night. I mean, you can talk about the defensive breakdowns, but I don't know how many shots they missed as a team. You know, they had Grubauer out of position, just missed the net, hit the post, couldn't get the shot off. It wasn't a very good offensive performance, let's just say. So I laid out more on the offense last night against Seattle. And Vazzy's got to take a little bit of the blame because you can't be letting in 3 goals on 9 shots.
I was at the game on Tuesday, and at first I was really surprised because last year when Minnesota was in town, it was very empty. I mean, the fans-wise. And on Tuesday, it was insane. So many girls. I guess everyone is so excited that Quinn Hughes was in town. I personally don't see anything special, but I guess other girls do. And so I've seen a lot of t-shirts, a lot of banners, and things were so wild. It's like Minnesota wild. Yes, they were so wild. It actually looked like they have more fans than the Tampa Bay Lightning. You know, when the team gets out for the warm-ups, like the Tampa Bay Lightning side was emptier than the Wild side. I was like, what is going on here? It was not the same picture last year. So I'm not sure if it's only all because of the Queen, and also because of the Olympics, and the Wild are doing better right now. So, but I was surprised. It was wild.
Wild, no pun intended. I think the other thing with Minnesota, too, a lot of those northern teams, it depends what time of year they come to Tampa. It's the height of spring break season, so a lot of folks from Minnesota thought, let's go down to Tampa, get warmed up a little bit, we'll see the Wild play. The Wild are a much better team this year than they were last year. They're pushing Dallas for that second spot in the Central Division. Colorado's going to win that division hands down. But Dallas is in second. Dallas and Minnesota right now, they're not separated by a whole lot of points. So I think their thinking is the Wild gets on a good roll here toward the end of the season, they can move up into that second spot. And when you're doing well and your team's on a roll, you tend to travel a little bit better. And who doesn't want to go to Florida in March when you're still freezing your arse off in Minnesota?
It looked like the Minnesota Wild wanted to say, here we go. We're so tough. We don't care about you guys, and we're going to show you all. And that's what they did. But when the Lightning actually played hockey, the Minnesota Wild couldn't get to them. Nikita Kucherov and his line, the guys are so fast. That's what you do. You just fly, go there. Do not focus on all the fighting and on the penalties. Because after the first period, it was like the Lightning got first. They got 5 penalties. And the Wild got 4. I understand when you get your third line out there, it sets the mood. But once again, they were supposed to play hockey. They got so lucky that they scored 3 power play goals and they were able to get back on track. Yes, but like you said, when it came to the Seattle game, and once again, it was not the best performance for everyone, and Nikita Kucherov too. We talk about him a lot because we want him to do better. And the last 3 games, like I said, it's been only 1 point each night.
Yeah, he's definitely cooled off a bit. He'll get going though, unless they play the Florida Panthers miraculously in the playoffs, and then he'll disappear till next fall. No, I'm kidding, but that's been the way Kucherov has played in the first round of the playoffs the last couple of seasons. But to your point about the physicality and the way the Lightning come out to start some of those games, you and I have talked about this before. It was a given that last year and the year before to a certain extent, the Lightning have been bullied and pushed around in the playoffs. No one had an answer for that. Breezeboy went out, brought in some players that have a little bit of toughness to them, a little bit of sandpaper, a little bit of an edge, and that's proved to be good for the Lightning because now we have somebody that, or a couple of players that are going to step up when there's a egregious hit, when there's something out of bounds that's not part of the play. However, I think as we get closer to the playoffs, and the deeper you go into the playoffs, when your skill set is going to be more important than your physicality, it's important to have that physicality tool, if you will, in your toolbox. And you can bring it out when needed. But you don't want to use the hammer all the time. That disrupts the flow of your game. It disrupts your offensive system. You have guys out there that maybe shouldn't be out there at that certain part of the game. So physicality is a good thing. You just need to learn how to use it. And I think Cooper and the coaching staff will get on that as we come down the stretch and get into the playoffs. They'll be more mindful of when to use that.
Use it. Don't abuse it.
Yes.
Because sometimes you're absolutely right. Because sometimes it looks like they overdoing it. Please don't. Just play hockey. It's okay to, punch some guys around. Just don't overdo it and don't focus on that. Stick to the plan. And also, it means injuries, and we don't need any injuries right now. Speaking of the injuries,
Corey Perry. Did you see Corey Perry's face?
Yes,
oh my
he
God.
got that blue eye. I've seen the fight. I do have that. I will try to edit it, actually. I've seen it. Like I said, I was there. It didn't look good. And immediately when he was able to get up, I could see that his face was covered in blood. So I felt really bad. Also, it's just the same with, we just discussed the March Madness with that 7-9 player. And there's actually really funny reel on YouTube where Shaq O'Neal, he's trying to bully a smaller guy, and the text says, "Find someone your size." And then he turns around and he's facing chest of that Canadian basketball player from the Florida Gators. So it was about the same. It's like that guy, who is much taller, younger. It's like, yeah, I feel good about punching a 40 years old great player who is smaller than you are, who just wants to stand up for his team. It was just not necessary, okay? Yes, there was a brawl before that, and it stopped. So it's like, dude, why do you want to continue? Stop. Do you feel better?
It's been a long time since Corey Perry got beat like that in a fight. It was similar to me to when Buster Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson in Japan years ago in that heavyweight fight. All the money was on Mike Tyson, and Buster Douglas catches him with one punch, and that's it. Corey Perry doesn't get beat like that very often. He's 40 years old. He's another one of those tough guys. But he knows when it's time to bring it and when it's time to play hockey. He's smart about that. And going forward, I think he'll be a little more judicious about where he chooses the spots to get involved or just to let things go. But that was a bad one.
Yeah, I felt bad for him anyways, because it's like it was too much. It was too much, and it was just the start of the game. It also, like from my side, I could see that a lot of shots, Vasilevsky was facing a lot of shots that he didn't need to, just because the guys were not focusing on their work. They were focusing on the fight. And obviously, the Minnesota Wild was bullying the guys, but that was their job. That's what they wanted. They just wanted to distract the Lightning, and they did a great job in that. But luckily, the Lightning got the win. Okay, speaking of the injuries, it's not necessarily the injury, but we talked about Victor Hedman a lot too. And he hasn't been playing since Vancouver. I think it was March.
Yeah.
Let me see in my notes somewhere. It was March. I can't find it now. So it was March something. Anyways, and so he only has 33 games this season, 1 goal, 17 points. It's a very complicated season for him. Injuries, surgery. Also, I mean, you have to care about the human side, and his favorite dog passed away. Olympic pressure. There's just a lot going on. And also when he came back after his surgery, obviously he could not, play the game he used to. And he could also see that he cannot fit in right now. There's no spot for him too. Anyway, something is going on. Yeah, he has a leave of absence right now from the team, and we just wish him, to get back on track, obviously, but also just the best wishes, and whatever he and his family is dealing with, I just wish them the best.
No, absolutely. I mean, he's been everything that you want in his 17 years as a member of the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's been a great defensive player. He's not so much now, but when you look at the scope of his 17-year career, been a great defensive player, been a great leader in the locker room, been good in the community, and now that he needs to take a break and refresh himself, both physically and mentally, I think, he deserves that, and the fans and the media need to give him that space to get well and to recoup, get over what it is that happens to be the issue at the time. And when he does come back, hopefully he'll be a little bit of the old Victor Hedman of old. He is 35 years old, so he's not going to play like he was at 25. But the time off and just refreshing himself, hopefully he's got a couple of good games left in him.
And we talked about it a lot. You can listen to our podcast, Hockey on the Beach, on Apple, Spotify, and pretty much anywhere you can find it. So, like I said, we wish him the best. And like you said about the community outreach, I kind of just figured it out. This season, the Tampa Bay Lightning doesn't have that many fans events as they usually do. I'm not sure why. Do you think it's maybe because, the team is still in the process of changing ownership, and obviously things internally, they are changing. So the franchise is not as they usually are. I mean, everyone is still nice, things are happening, but it just used to be so much more. You could see the players around, they try to produce different shows, events here and there. It's just not this season.
You made a good point. That could be due to the ownership change. And Jeffrey Vinik, his ownership style was totally different than the owners that we have in place. Jeffrey Vinik was first and foremost, let's get into the community. Let's be about the fans. Let's do all these different things to bring the fans in and build the organization. A lot of times when you're got investment brokers and those kind of folks running the team, all of a sudden the almighty dollar becomes most important. A lot of the events that you have seen in the past cost a few dollars to put on. They're not going to put out, that kind of money. I'll give you example with these investment brokers. For most of my adult life, I was in the restaurant business. The worst thing that could happen if you worked in a restaurant was to hear that your restaurant chain or your restaurant was being bought by an investment firm. Mm-hmm. What it meant was all of a sudden your expenses, your labor cost, your food cost, all those expenses were going to be slashed in half, and these idiots were going to sit there and wonder, how come sales are down? How come nobody's coming in the door? Why are things the way they are? Well, let's talk about this. Investment brokers and investment firms, they are the worst at buying businesses and trying to put their stamp on them. Because the only thing that they worry about is the almighty dollar. They do not worry about anything else. Don't try to tell me any different. I'm not going to believe it. I've seen it happen too many times. Mm-hmm. Too many times.
Okay, and what do you mean by that? What's your conclusion?
My conclusion is, as Bob Dylan's saying in the 1960s, the times, they are changing, folks. Oh. And this is a new ownership group. They're going to do things a little bit different than Jeffrey Vinik. Let's face it, we've been spoiled by Jeffrey Vinik. Mm-hmm. Not only does the commissioner of the NHL praise Vinik for what he has done in the community, for how he runs the Lightning, organizations in other sports have looked to Jeffrey Vinik as an owner and asked themselves, how can we run our business similar to what he does, where we get a lot of fan support, where we're the number one team in the community? How do we do that? This new ownership group, they always say when they take over, oh, we just want to keep things the same. Yeah, nothing's really going to change. But bit by bit, little by little, as you pointed out, things are changing a bit. And this is only year one. Now, I'm not saying that, the Lightning fan experience is going to go down the toilet and just be absolutely horrendous. But there's little things that they will change, and the fans won't like it, and that's unfortunately just the way it is.
I want to see what it's going to be. So, it's not even excitement. I really want to know, and I want to see what's going to change.
Well, you pointed out one change.
Less community events.
They do with the fans. Less community events. Let's hope it doesn't affect the payroll and the money that they're willing to pay the players when the contract's up, when they have a chance to bring in a marquee talent. We're going to see what's going to happen here real soon not with Jake Gunsel, but with Darren Raddysh.
Oh,
Darren Raddysh
that's
is
a
going
big
to be a
one.
free agent. And he's making $650,000 this year. Now, that's a lot of money to you and I, but for a hockey player and for the way he has played defense, that is a pittance.
Hold on. You don't know if that's a lot of money for me.
It is for me. It is for me. I'm not ashamed to say it. It is for me. I could live well on $650,000.
No, it's not as much as you think.
I know it's not. It's about half of that by the time you pay
Taxes, yeah.
taxes, your agent fees, and all the other nonsense that you're required to pay. But you get my point. And the Lightning have to decide: are we going to give Raddysh this new contract?
Yeah.
Or are we not going to re-sign him? And if we do re-sign him, what is he worth?
$5 million. What's your guess? $5 million, 5 years?
I would say $5 to $6 million. Yeah. Now, I'm going to tell you something else, too. As a fan, my answer would be, I don't care. Just re-sign the man, okay? Let's just get him for the next, 5-7 years. Let's get him on a contract. I mean, who was it that signed that contract a couple of months ago? Was that Moser?
Yes.
They gave that big contract to?
Yes, that was heavy, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're Darren Raddysh, you're sitting there, hey, what about me? Hello? And Breeze Boy spoke about it, and he said right now there's no defenseman in the NHL that's playing like Raddysh that has a contract that they can look at that would be similar based on his years of experience and what he's done. He is a little bit older, so you have to ask yourself, is this just a one-year run? Or is this the kind of performance we can expect from Raddysh in the next 2-3 years? All that stuff comes into play, and believe me, the folks in the Lightning front office are thinking about that as they decide, what to offer him, how many years, how much money, etc.
He evolved, and I just want to point out that he's 30 years old, and he has 20 goals, 45 assists in 64 games. And it's not even about that. You can see that he is really confident. He's a changed player. That's great, but I just hope in his heart, he feels like, Tampa is his number one spot. Because if it is, he will be able to manage this deal. It's not only about the agents. It's not only about the front office. I understand that people want to get as much as they can, but he also, ask Nikita Kucherov, he wouldn't want to go anywhere. He will be very flexible. He lives here. He loves it here. He doesn't want to go anywhere.
But the other thing about Raddysh, too, not so much with the contract, but I believe that I saw 20 goals this season. I think with his next goal, he will break Victor Hedman's record for goals by defensemen in a season. I believe that's right. So we still have a few games left in the season. Odds are he's going to get that.
Good for him.
Record. Yeah, absolutely.
I just hope that they're going to appreciate it in terms of the new contract, and they will be able to get that deal. Because it's still, he evolved for sure.
Yeah.
Because Darren Raddysh in previous 2 seasons wasn't as powerful as he is right now. You could really see he was working off season, and whatever he was doing, whatever who was coaching him, it really works. Good for him. And the partners' chemistry, obviously, too. Let's just, before we go off the air, talk about Nikita Kucherov a little bit. We have 40 goals, 121 points, plus 45. Jesus Christ, in 67 games. I understand that McDavid, got him again. He has 121 points and 41 goals. But please, people, when you do the math and pay attention to all the details, Nikita Kucherov done that in less time, and his plus minus is so much better. Also, it's not like his entire team is playing for him. It's teamwork. It's not just one person. Yes, there is a franchise face. Yes, but still, it's a lot of teamwork. Anyways, what do you think about that, Ken?
I agree 100%. In fact, I wrote an article on my website, the Tampa Bay Sportsjournal.com, on why Nikita Kucherov should be the MVP. And I break it down. It's not so much about scoring. They have an award for that. It's called the Art Ross Trophy. But the MVP is, to me, for the player that makes the team better. How do you enhance your teammates' role? How do you make them better players and in turn makes the team better? That was the crust of the article, and Kucherov does that really well. Now, before we move on, I don't know whether you heard this or not. This is reported by Jeff Merrick, who's an NHL reporter. And this guy, not Jeff Merrick, but he's quoting a guy. He has got to be one of the biggest ignoramuses that I have ever read a quote from or heard in my life. He ought to have his voting rights taken away from him for the Hart Trophy.
What he said, yeah.
He says, oh, Kucherov had a 2.5 week break for the Olympics. Everyone else was playing high-level hockey and came back tired. He's had a chance to refresh himself. Sir, you are an idiot if you wrote that. I mean, if you want people to take you serious as a hockey analyst and a journalist and a reporter, you can't be putting out nonsense like that. You just can't. I have no other words to say. Mm-hmm. I mean, the man's an idiot.
I actually loved your article. Yeah, obviously it's been pretty loud. You know, the quote that you just pronounced. That's how I'm going to relate to that. Pronounce that quote. And, you know, no matter how you're trying to play with this, and we discussed that a lot, it is a little bit of political. And saying once again, oh, he had time off. Well, first of all, he didn't. If you actually walk around Tampa, everyone knows that Nikita Kucherov works nonstop. Although, you know, some people maybe don't follow NHL that closely, but, you know, even the reporters who don't live in Tampa area and don't know much about the city, they've heard about it, that Nikita Kucherov was working out really hard with Adam Oates nonstop. Even if it wasn't for Oates, he would still be working out. He's shooting, he's skating, he does everything to get better every day. He did not have any time off. He works all year long. Although, if we go back to the politics, unfortunately, once again, why did Nikita Kucherov did not go to the Olympics? Because of people like that who say that they're not going to vote for Nikita Kucherov because he had 2 weeks off. And why did he had 2 weeks off? Because some other guys, maybe I should call them idiots too, they think that it's Nikita Kucherov's fault what's going on around town. And just to make this matter even more spicier, I can tell you this. Nikita Kucherov doesn't travel to Russia right now. He spends all his time here. So please stop making this political and give this man the well-deserved heart, because this is a joke now. It's the third season in a row.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And if that's going to be your mindset toward players, you're not being objective. You're putting your personal feelings into how you feel about a player instead of looking at everything evenly across the board and then casting your vote. Bottom line. And if that's
you are fired, man. You are fired.
You should not have a vote. Go vote in your high school league for MVP if that's your thought process. It doesn't belong at the NHL level.
I read that article. It was hot. Go read it. Tampa Bay Sports Journal. Go read it. It's awesome. I can see that you know your heart is pumping up right now. So I want to ask you about what is going on with all this basketball story with the USF. Once again, I read another great article by you, and I was like, oh my God, Ken is making really great points. What is that with all these coaches who think that it's okay, just show up here for one season and then beach was fine, now it's time to move on?
Yeah. Well, in USF, the S stands for stepping stone. Unfortunately, that's the way it's been with Alex Golesh leaving after a couple of seasons and Brian Hodgson. Here's the thing that just irritates me about the whole situation. On day one, when these coaches have their opening press conferences, They say how great USF is, how wonderful of an institution it is, how they have everything they need to win. Brian Hodgson, the coach that just left for Providence, he said USF has things in place as far as facilities and behind the scenes work, the meal program, that are better than some big universities. USF is ahead of that. And then 3-4 days after the season, see you folks, I'm off to Providence. I don't understand. There's a big disconnect. And the bigger thing is, what is wrong with USF? Mm-hmm. Why are they having this problem recently? Now, Rob Higgins, he's the CEO of athletics. I think he's great. Okay, that does a great job. And you saw what happened when Alex Golesh left. It wasn't a couple of weeks. Brian Hartline was hired as the new football coach, one of the up-and-comers. Hodgson leaves, boom. Less than a week later, we have Chris Mack as the new head coach. And it was funny. I thought it was kind of funny. They hired Miss Curry, the women's coach at Alabama, to come to USF. And within 48 hours, they announced the hiring of Chris Mack. So Rob Higgins is on it. His motto is all gas, no brakes. And he exhibits that in the way he works and the talent that he brings in. But one thing is holding USF back, and it's up to Rob Higgins to make it happen. And I know he's working hard behind the scenes, but it can't happen quick enough. USF has to get into a bigger conference. They have to get into the Big Ten, the Big 12, ACC, or the SEC. Those are the four big ones. Rob Higgins has to make that happen. Until that happens, unfortunately, the struggles are probably going to continue, with coaches leaving before their contract's up, with players leaving for bigger Neal money that had committed to USF. That's just the state of college athletics right now that we're in. It's unfortunate, but I think that's the truth.
So basically, it's all about money, no pride. I mean, hello, it's Tampa. It's beautiful here. USF is a great school. I just cannot believe that a person is ready to pay off $2 million for breaching a contract. Let's call it that way, because that's breaching a contract. You signed it, you committed, and now you're like, oh, whatever. $2 million, no problem.
Here's, let me ask you. If I told you could go to Providence, Rhode Island, or stay in Tampa, Florida, which one are you picking?
I can even tell you more. I can give you an example. Some of the players that were drafted by the Tampa Bay Lightning, they are sent to Syracuse, and some of them are sent to the Orlando. It's the CHL affiliate. Yeah. And some of the players, they prefer to stay in the lower league just to be in Florida, in Orlando, close to the beach, in great weather, than suffer in Syracuse. Yeah. Because they get paid the same.
Does the sun even shine in Providence before June? Does the temperature get above 50 degrees before June? I mean, I just think of Providence kind of like Seattle. Miserable, drab, dark, rainy, 300 days out of the year. July 1st hits and everybody says, okay, folks, let's go to the beach. We only have 2 or 3 weeks. It's going to start getting cold again. I mean,
well, good luck.
I know. But, God bless Rob Higgins. We got a good man in Chris Mack, has a lot of experience. He's been to the NCAA tournament numerous times. Yes. Took a team to the Final Four. His press conference will be Tuesday, which will be the last day of March, to officially introduce him as the new head coach. And I'm sure then we'll learn more about what attracted him to the South Florida position and what his style of basketball is going to be, what kind of folks he wants to bring into this program, etc. So I'm looking forward to that.
That means we're going to have more next week, and maybe we can even use some of the videos.
Yeah. Real quick, can I just talk about John Cooper for a second.
Of course. Make it big.
Yeah, he coached, I think, what was it, his 1,000th game recently?
Oh, yes. Where's my puck? Where's my puck? Yeah.
Anyways, Cooper has the highest win percentage in NHL history for a coach who's only been with the team 13 seasons. Cooper had his 13th anniversary with the Lightning this week.
That's right.
And Cooper is second in NHL history among coaches with the highest win percentage after games coached. He has the third most regular season wins in history. He's at 611. He was the second fastest to win 600 games. He did it coaching in 1,044 games. He has 11 postseason appearances in 12 seasons. And the man has never won Coach of the Year.
What is wrong with you people?
NHL hockey writers should be ashamed of themselves. Ashamed.
They should be. And it was December 31st. Tampa Bay Lightning were facing the Anaheim Ducks.
Okay.
Let me remind you, 4-3 win.
Yes. So I just wanted to
that's a good one.
And end on a positive note here with the best coach in the NHL, John Cooper.
Absolutely. All I can say this year, not only the Tampa Bay Lightning should get at least to the finals, but John Cooper finally will get his Jack Adams award, and Nikita Kucherov
don't forget, he's coached in 4 Stanley Cup finals, winning 2 of them in his head
we need
coaching
three repeat. I mean, it's not really consecutive, but that's okay.
Yes, right. Yeah, so nothing else to add. Cooper should win Coach of the Year. Kucherov for MVP of the season. And I'm doing an article now, getting my research together on why Cooper should be Coach of the Year, the same way I did with Nikita Kucherov.
Yeah, do it. Let's do it. Don't forget to share so I can actually use all of the links. Yes. That was awesome, Ken. Thank you so much. Hockey on the Beach, Tampa Bay Sports Journal. We love you all. Not all of you, just the Tampa Bay Lightning fans. I'm just kidding.
Thanks for listening to the Hockey on the Beach podcast.